Alright, so we're gonna be working on a Mini Cooper. I already taped off the front bumper. Has some corner damage, not too bad. So we're gonna do a little blend instead of having to paint the whole bumper. We're gonna sand it 220, fill it with Bondo, then sand it, prime it, maybe prime it again a second time, and then the base coat and clear coat. So we're gonna finish off taping. As you can see, I already have some tape on there, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, we're gonna sand it with 220. You want to sand just where the damage is. That way you don't have to blend it too far out. You want to keep it as small as possible. Alright, so I finished bondoing it, or using the filler. It's dry to touch now. Now it's time to sand it with 220 again. You want to sand it till it's perfectly smooth. That way it looks really nice once you paint it and clear it and you don't see a wave. Feels pretty smooth. Alright, so what I use to scuff is a bottle of Windex, the pink stuff. You could also use water if you'd like, and a red scuff pad. So basically just spray around the area that you're going to be working. Alright, so you want to scuff it real good. That way you don't have your paint peeling or anything like that. And you want to scuff a little bit past where you're going to blend. Once it dries, you can wet sand and buff the scuff marks if you didn't get to. That way it'll all blend in very well and it shines good. Alright, so now that it's dry, we wiped it down, scuffed up, we got a primer gun. We're gonna prime just this area where we did the 220. You don't want to go past it too much because then you have to paint more of the bumper. We're trying to keep it as small as possible. There you go. Let that sit and dry for a little bit and then sand it with 400. Alright, so while the primer dries, we're going to mix the paint. The coat is C12 Midnight Gray. That's the colors we're going to be using and the ounces. Here's your scale, a little messy. And we will be using Standox paint for that. Alright, we got the color mixed up already. There you go. Primer should be dry now, so we're gonna sand it, then wipe it down and tape it off a little better, and start base coating. Alright, so we're all primed and sanded. Now what we're going to do is clean the bumper right before shoot. Usually I clean with a prep solvent. I don't have any at the moment, so I have to use glass cleaner again. Just make sure you clean it really well. That way you don't have any solvent pop or fish eyes, whatever, with a clear. Alright, so what I have here is Adhesive Promoter. I put some in the gun, use the filter. We're going to spray a thin light coat on the areas that we're going to paint, and after that our base coat is going on. So alright, so many of body shops don't really use this stuff. They just scuff it really well. They say they don't need it, but I've been using this stuff for years and I really like it. Make sure your bumper's dry, there's no dust. Grab a tab cloth and kind of wipe it down a little bit with that. So here's a thin coat of Adhesive Promoter. This is just so the paint sticks better and we don't have any peeling issues and stuff like that. So you don't have to go too heavy on it. Just a light coat. Alright, so my audio on this part went out. What we're doing here is we're gonna spray the base coat right on the area where I primed. You want to keep it as small as possible. That way you don't have to feather out the base coat too far out. So you lay maybe 2 or 3 coats depending on the coverage of the color. This color seems to cover pretty good, so we're gonna feather out to the left a little bit and then to the right once we finish concentrating on the primered area. Right here we're gonna spray the clear, the first coat of clear. You want to start from the right and slowly work your way to the left and then stop. That way you could blend it out and avoid painting the whole bumper. So you don't want to spray it on too thick. That way you avoid running the clear coat or sagging it, because then it becomes a pain in the ass to wet sand and buff it. So you work an up and down motion. Make sure you get every little area. Don't miss anything. So now that you spray your first coat of clear, you let it sit for about 10-15 minutes, depending on the temperature of where you're working at. Alright, second coat, you want to lay it on a little thicker. Same thing, you start from the right, you work your way up and down, and you kind of overlay as you spray. You want to stop at the same spot you stopped on the first coat. That way you get a nice blend, and you know where you blend it exactly, and you don't like burn it when you're buffing it and stuff like that. So because after it dries and everything, you want to give it a little buff. I'll make another video on that. But yeah, we're blending down there and up there. You want for the blending area, you want to lower your volume and raise your pressure, and you want to mix it 50-50. So 50-50 clear with reducer. So just do half and half. Don't go too heavy either with this one. Kind of do it till you get a little gloss. It's not gonna be like the rest of the bumper that you cleared, but it's gonna give it a little gloss. If you notice that it's still too dull, then go over it again. Just don't go too heavy. Once it dries, you buff over it and it'll give it an extra gloss, so you'll get that shine back and you won't even see the blend. Other than that, this is our final product right there. Not too much dust or anything. Thanks guys. Make sure you like the video and subscribe.